Good evening. Welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph, and I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. So, this is our Friday night live experience show where we talk about either a live album, maybe a live video we've seen, or a concert I might have been to, or a DVD. And in this case, I've chosen a DVD collection. It's one of the ones I got. I think I got it for Christmas in 2007 or 2008. And I don't even remember who gave it to me. But I have it. And it's fantastic. So we're talking about this collection here. This is the Kissalogy. This is volume 1, which is released 1974 to 1977 concerts. This thing is loaded with really Kiss classics, some really good Kiss concerts. You get to see them when they're young and at their prime, and the original 4 members. There's some shots in here on the first concert that they do. Which I think was the first one here is the Aerobat. Let me think. I can't see it, so we're gonna need these. Oh yeah, the Acrobat at the Long Beach Auditorium. Previously unreleased tracks, February 1774. So raw. The band is so new at this point. Ace has his silver hair, if you can imagine. Gene's hair is all over the place, of course, and he's real, like tall, skinny guy at the time, and it's like there's barely a stage show at all except for the makeup, and they're just like jumping all over the place. It's the earliest version of Kiss you can possibly imagine. Anyways, it's a great view. Some of the other concerts. I'm just going to open it up a bit. I just want to talk about that one briefly for a minute. So this is what you get. This big collection, some nice shots, really well put together. Here it's even better, like right behind the discs, you get to see them at their best. Gene with his blood and a little bit of everything of everybody. The albums are really tastefully covered. Comes with 2 booklets, which I'm going to take out, show you. And I know some of you have seen this before. Obviously, a lot of people have seen it before. There's like 4 of these, I think. I could be wrong. Could be 3 volumes, but I think there's a 4th one now too. And anyways, it gives you this booklet here, which is just some wonderful shots of the guys in concert. It's a nice shot of Ace and Paul and Gene in the background. Some nice flame shots. Pyrotechnics were big here. Here's a beautiful shot of Ace. Again, it's football field in Cadillac, Michigan, with everybody dressed as members of Kiss Army, I guess. This is a classic shot. It's great. You got a shot of Gene with his pyrokinetics going on. Wow. There's a little bit of a distorted view here on one side, and then this classic one on the other side here, which is famous. Here's one from them in Nippon, Japan, at Budokan Hall. And a shot of Peter likely doing Beth in this particular song here. Anyway, so it's a neat book, and then they give you this extra disc. Like there's 2 discs, and then there's this extra one, just pretty much the same setup as the other one. This one was recorded in New York City at Madison Square Gardens on February the 18th, 1977. The tracks played were Detroit Rock City, Take Me, Let Me Go, Rock and Roll, Firehouse, Nothing to Lose, Shout It Out Loud, and Black Diamond. some of their classic stuff, Yeah, there's a wide variety of concerts here. I'll just go over them a bit. Just get the back of this book because it gives everything. I don't want to lose anything. So I've discovered if I don't put everything back exactly the way I got it, next thing I know I can't find it. That's always the case, and it always will be the case with me. So whenever I take something out, I put it all back together exactly the way I got it. And then guess what? When I want to look at it, it's there. Surprise, surprise, eh? Anyways, so some of the other concerts on here include the ABCs in concert, March 29th, 1974, the Mike Douglas Show. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Gene was on the Mike Douglas Show. And that was like really big costume stuff. It was like just basically leather, the bat wings, and he was like real skinny at that time. Like, hardly believe it was him actually in some ways, but they just had him on to interview him on the show. It was kind of funny actually. Then the concert at Winterland on January the 31st, 1975. The Midnight Special, where I think they did King of the Nighttime World on April 1st, 1975. Kiss Alive promo clips for the Alive album, which to me they're one of their best, if not their best album. The documentary of Cadillac, Michigan on the 9th and 10th of 1975. And that's when they went there and pretty much on the football field, and the whole town kind of spent the day being part of the Kiss Army, because Detroit was really the first place to become Kiss fans. They were the city that took off first. Cobo Hall, January 6, 1976. So that's your first disc. The second disc is when they've had their Alive album out, and they've now blown up quite a bit. And you'll see their concerts are much more elaborate, and the costumes are much more elaborate, and the music sets are longer, and there's more pyrokinetics. There's all kinds of stuff. So It Goes, August the 21st, 1976. That's a pretty good one. The Paul Lynde Halloween Special, and I believe I believe they did King of the Nighttime World on that one, so maybe it wasn't on the other one, but I kind of remember it being on one of those specials. I thought it was the Midnight Special, but it might have been this one. Yeah, that would make more sense, because King of the Nighttime World wouldn't have been around on the Midnight Special. It would have came out the next year, so I think it was this one. The Budokan Hall, that concert, huge. And then the Don Kirshner's rock concert, May 28th, 1977. And then the final view is the Summit. So a lot of these are classics, like considered among the best concerts by Kiss ever on this CD. Some really good stuff here. And, of course, it's the original four, which I think most Kiss fans prefer and wish that it had remained that way. Unfortunately, this is a dysfunctional family on the scale of a large D. To be honest, I don't know that any of these guys actually like any of the other guys. I know that when they were together, Peter and Ace were kind of friendly towards each other, and Paul and Gene were as well. But, after Peter's release, and, people can say what they want, but in order to get rid of him, it had to be almost a unanimous vote, and Ace went along with it, and they kicked Peter out. So, do I blame Ace for it? No, not at all. Peter was completely out of control and was trying to sabotage their whole way they were. So he had to go. He was being very unprofessional, I think. But Ace was supposed to be his buddy. But when it comes down to money, nobody's your buddy at that point. And Peter and Gene have always had this front, like they're the two guys, and they have the vision, and they're like brothers almost, and in some ways they are. But I mean, Paul's come out in recent times, and he'd invite Gene to his wedding, and he's he's had problems with Gene. He doesn't really like him, and Gene is a hard guy to like. Like you can say, like a lot of people don't like him really, but I don't particularly like him, but I also give credit where credit's due. If not for Gene Simmons, this band would not have existed. He was bombastic, ego-driven, but he was out there, and he put on the best possible front that you could for this band, because it was basically, in the beginning, it was his antics that drew the attention to the band. He's the one that put them on the map. His whole persona. People didn't flock to see Paul Stanley blowing kisses or Ace Frehley's lead guitar bits or Peter Criss singing anything. They flocked to see this guy that was spitting blood and breathing fire all over the place and was like completely like a demon, right? I mean, after a while we all began to know what he was like as a person, but at that point in time he put them on the map. So for him, I give him 100% kudos for that. So this is a well put together set volume of great concerts and music by one of the greatest bands of all time. Certainly was the first band for me that set me on the road to rock and roll. And for a while, from when I discovered them in 75 until sometime in the late 70s, I think it was around somewhere in the summer of 78, I think. I wouldn't listen to anything else but Kiss. I can't even remember a single time where I put something other than a Kiss album on my turntable. That's how dominating they were for me. And at that time in the 70s, you loved them or you hated them. And I was definitely in the love category. And I still like them. I still think that stuff from the 70s is fantastic. Their albums I love. Their concerts I love. Even the whole persona of the group and the way they were. They were bombastic and out there. And the logo, everything about them was bigger than life. The stuff that's happened since is just money. That's all it is. And they shoot each other in the back, and then they're best friends the next day on the stage together. I think they're kind of like that family that can't stand each other, but can't stand not being with each other. I think it was a bit of a travesty that Gene and Paul wouldn't perform with Ace and Peter at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But it was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so it's not that really a big of a deal. And their excuse is that they think Peter and Ace weren't up to it anymore. That's bull crap. I think it's just they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to give them kudos. And this thing about, well, the other guys in the band didn't get nominated for Hall of Fame, nor should they be. I'm sorry, Vinnie Vincent, Mark St. John, Eric Carr, Bruce Kulick, Bob Kulick, Ace's buddy, can't think of his name, Tommy Thayer. They didn't do anything to put themselves in the Hall of Fame. If Kiss barely made the Hall of Fame, how can the marginal guys make it, right? I give a little more kudos to Vinnie Vincent and Eric Carr, because I think Vincent contributed a lot of really good stuff that brought Kiss back online a bit. And I think that Eric Carr was a good drummer and a really well-liked member of Kiss. The rest of them, cover band, so far as I'm concerned. And I know that's going to take some heat, but I don't really care. I'm a Kiss fan since I was a kid, and that's how I see it, and that's how it's going to stay. I'm not changing my mind. So if you want to yell at me, go ahead, but I'm still going to be thinking of it that way. But anyways, if you are a Kiss fan and you haven't seen these, first of all, I'm wondering where you've been. But if you haven't seen these, look at that little reflection of their faces there too. Eh? This is a very well put together collection. I imagine the other 2 or 3 are just as good. Maybe eventually I'll get them all. But this one is definitely fantastic. You get to see them as they're developing. It's just fantastic. This thing that went from a garage band big plays and big hopes to this monster on stage. I love it. I think they're great. Love this era of them the most. If it stayed that way, maybe they'd still be higher up on my list, but it didn't, and that's the way it is in life. But you can't take away from this. This is fantastic. So at any rate, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and we'll be back next week with another live performance, and hopefully it'll be something that I've got on my shelf, because I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. But at any rate, I hope you have a good evening and have a good night. From Prog Monster, goodbye.